As you grow older, you learn to become numb when it comes to business, when it comes to people.
Get thick skin.
And yeah, absolutely. Be smart with your money. I got 20,000 in, 25,000 out. I just saw the money coming in. I never thought about the money leaving one day.
Welcome to another episode of Flipping Miami. Today, I have a very, very special guest. Angel, he left his career in real estate over 10 years ago. He now owns some of the most iconic gyms in Miami and South Florida. I mean, incredible stuff. Elevation Fitness, 4 locations from Miami to Vegas. We're just talking, I think there's some more coming. 35,000 plus square feet of gym spaces. And he's from New York, but has accomplished a lot here in South Florida. And I think he's an amazing guest for Flipping Miami. So, dude, without further ado, thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate it.
First of all, thank you for the consideration. Thank you for having me. It's been quite the journey, and I'm more than happy to share my story.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, I was doing a lot of research when I wanted to revamp the show and bring on the best guests from South Florida, top people, and your name kept popping up. I researched you, and I'm like, man, this is incredible. I mean, I drive by your gyms all the time.
You gotta walk in the gym now.
Yeah, now I gotta walk in the gym. Yeah. But Angel, I mean, what does it feel like, bro? Like, you have one of the most iconic gyms. Like, everyone that comes to Miami, most of the, top influencers go to your gyms. What does it feel like at this point, man?
It's a little numbing. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I got into this, not really wanting to. Wasn't my dream to have a gym. It's just kind of fell into place at the right time, and my personality is just take charge and let's see what we can do with it. And today we have X amount of gyms. We're growing, building a few other businesses around it. And like you said, it's just the network of people has just been a huge sensation.
Insane, man. Insane. Yeah. I mean, and you have a very prime location. So I want to back up a little bit. I want to talk about what your team looks like, how you run the gyms, because from, if you follow him on Instagram, you'll see that you're very involved. You're always at the gyms. You're always posting content. So I could tell you're very involved. So I want to get into the nitty gritty of that. But let's back up, man. Who was Angel like? Who would have met in high school? Like, what were you like back then?
I was a skater.
I
was a skater.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
I was actually a terrible student in the sense of my grades. I flunked at every class with the exception of math and art on the creative side. And I love numbers.
Wow.
But everything else is just I could care less about. It's oddly, I grew up in New York City.
Okay.
So my environment was a little rough. And luckily, I had a good foundation of parents that kind of just, put me in place, whenever I needed to. But for the most part, I was a skater, and actually I picked up filmmaking when I was 12, 13 years old. And that's another part of my life, very short-lived, probably up until college. And then got into real estate and got into banking, another side of me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything.
Wow. So grew up in New York City. Seems like you had good parents. Your schooling wasn't great, which is also really good for you to share. And I appreciate you sharing, because a lot of people watching this are like, I got to be good in school. I have to be this, I have to be that. But I mean, it just shows you that doesn't always mean that. You're Hispanic, yeah?
I am, background Ecuadorian.
Okay, yeah. Ecuadorian background. So yeah, those Hispanic parents will get you straight, man.
Oh, absolutely. With something.
Yeah. And what was that like? So when did you move to Florida from New York? Like, what was that transition? Or was there different places?
Yeah, so, when I was 20 years old, I came to Miami. And first of all, when you're a kid in New York City, all you know is New York, Okay. And when you grow up a little bit, lower income, you don't really get to see the most of the world. So I had an opportunity, came to Florida, and it was an eye opener, as far as I remember seeing this one guy on a motorcycle without a helmet. I was like, what do you mean you can ride a motorcycle without a helmet? So for me, there's a level of freedom that I started learning about living in Florida, South Florida. And I just love the weather. The weather was just such an attraction to me. And I was 19, 20 years old, and I remember telling myself, one day I'm going to live here. Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, I noticed that the weather, and for your business, like, since here it's always sunny, there's always pretty good weather. You could always, as men, you can always have your shirt off. Women could be in their bikinis all year round. Like, it's probably really good for the fitness industry.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a motivation to get in shape, stay in shape. And especially if you have a competitive mindset, you want to look the best, be the best. So, hence elevation. You walk in there, it's like a runway.
No, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And so you're thinking about moving to Florida. You're 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
What are you doing at this time for work?
So I went to college for, I mentioned a video, and I got into video production. When I was 16 years old, by that age, I directed, produced, and filmed a short 30-minute film for skating. I got it distributed around the US.
Wow.
By 17, right before I graduated, did my second video. Not even talking about it today, I'm 40 years old. I'm like, holy shit, that was a pretty big leap things that I was doing. I was always around incredible people as well. So fast forward, got into college, and actually that passion for a film just died in college. And I remember reading this one book, a very known book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Oh, okay.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
And that exposed me to another world. And honestly, that book kind of opened up my appetite for more books. And I remember I dropped out of college and I dove into real estate. My mother was bugging out. She was like, "What are you doing? You're just getting your education together." And I said, "Mom, I got this." And I got into real estate in the subprime market. I know you're familiar with it. So, back then, 106% financing, seller concessions. So it was, I got the taste of what it is to provide homes for people. And I did very well. And by 21, I bought my first apartment.
Wow.
22, I bought a multifamily in the Bronx.
This is New York. Okay, so
New
you're
York
doing
City,
all this
yeah.
in New York right now.
And in 23, I bought a single family home. I had a good life. 23 years old,
Yeah.
However, I also mismanaged my money. I was really
Yeah.
silly. Clubs, bottles, girls, and I thought I was on top of the world. And shortly after, things started slowing down for me, and I got into retail banking. We started working for JP Morgan.
Okay.
I got my Series 6, 63, all my licenses out the way. And I proceeded to move forward with the corporate route, was still kind of doing my real estate on the side. I became a broker at 23 years old in New York. But fast forward, 2007, 2008 came, the market took a big hit, and it also left a really big dent in my pocket. And I went from having, 750, almost 800 credit score, all these properties, cars, cash, to really, I had to eventually short sell my homes. Oh. I went through a rough patch in my mid 20s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot to unpack.
It's a lot.
Man.
It's a lot more.
From film to real estate
Yeah.
to buying properties to the crash.
Yeah.
A lot of people suffered in that crash. What do you feel were some lessons you took away? Like it seems like you worked hard. I can get that from you, that because just even if the market's good and real estate's good, it still takes a lot of work to get clients, underwrite loans, cold call, put the deals together, whatever you were doing. It takes a lot of work. A lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, the market's good and it helps you, but so you did a lot of work. What are some lessons you learned? Like now you look back and you're talking to your 22, 23-year-old self, and you're like, if you could talk to that person that's going through that, because maybe there's someone watching that's doing well, what would you say to that kid?
Be smart with your money. I was a savage. I got 20,000 in, 25,000 out.
I see.
I was, I wanted nice things. I wanted a car, and I just saw the money coming in. I never thought about the money leaving one day, or even creating some sort of nest. I had my investments. I had tenants. So hence when, I'll get quick stories. When I was 26, 27, I think that was during that time, I moved my life to Miami the first time, my first move.
Okay.
I had money in the bank. I hired a property manager. I was also, the market was kind of in the shits as well. But I came to Miami. I had a drop top convertible. I got a condominium at the Blue Condo.
Okay.
I was living this Miami life. And I actually came here. I started working for Fortune International.
Okay.
I became an associate broker.
Wow.
And shortly after, my tenants in New York, my property manager started stealing from me. Oh. And that's when everything went upside down. So after that, I went back to New York. Like I had mentioned, just negative credit score, negative account, overdraft account. I sold my BMW. I sold everything. And I had to start from scratch. And I think when I restarted my life, this is when fitness came in, I told myself, yes, my purpose obviously is to make money. We're gonna get there, but I need to focus on what I what I loved at the time, which was fitness and whether it was training or whatever it was, and it took me where I'm at now. But at the end of the day, it's not that I wasn't worried about money, but that wasn't my purpose. Where in the beginning it was, I just wanted to make more money, wanted to make more money. So and that kind of flipped the role. So as the income comes in, like it has come in with elevation, they're beautiful numbers, but I never took it into consideration. Oh, I'm going to buy me I have a nice car. But I mean, like, I'm going to go ahead and spend $500,000 on a Rolls or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool, man. I mean, I think it's awesome that you learned a lot of those lessons really young in your 20s. So now 30, 40 and plus, which is really when I feel that you can make big decisions.
Correct.
That now it's like, all right, you have that pain, you suffered that pain, and it's like, okay, I can do this now.
Yeah,
and you
absolutely
can take care of your money and make some big moves, which it seems like you're making. I want to get into the gym.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Just a quick interruption. This video is sponsored by Casa Finance. If you're looking to renovate a property, buy a property, and need money to buy this property, Casa Finance is the lender to go to. They'll lend you the renovation money. They'll lend you the money to buy a fix and flip home. They'll lend you the money to buy a rental. They do the DSCR loans, so you don't have to go through a bank. Any type of loan you need to buy your next investment property, Casa Finance will do it. Click the link below or in the show notes. Fill out the form to get approved today. Now back to the episode. This podcast, originally when I started it, was all based on real estate. That's my background. I wholesale properties, flip properties, things like this. So, but then I started realizing, man, the Miami and South Florida has such a huge impact on me and other people I've seen.
Yeah.
And I found the true passion. So I love that you have a real estate background plus a South Florida background, and you're from New York. So really, really cool. So you moved to Miami. You've gone through all this stuff. You're a fortune. Things are happening. Let me ask you this, because you mentioned tenants. I've had some tenant videos go viral, some good, some not so good, raising rents or whatever. Let me ask you, what's your craziest tenant story?
Holy fuck. Oh my God. Oh man. So I had bought this property and oh man. Don't think
back to memory lane, right?
Jeez. So I bought this property. It came with tenants. The current owner at the time told me they were Section 8 tenants, but they were applying. So I was 22, 23 years old. Such a gullible kid. I bought the property, met the tenants. I went to the extent of as I bought the property to help them get Section 8 certified.
The voucher, all that.
Long story short, they were there without paying me rent for about 13 months.
Oh my God.
So the tenant laws in New York are pro-tenant, unlike here where it's a bit easier So when that happened, I don't know if I should, but I remember I would go there with such a I would start sweating when I would arrive to the property, because these people, I just knew they were
it's like freeloading.
Straight up. They didn't give a shit. They would just see me and I'd be like, yo, I was like, yo, what's up?
Yeah.
So I remember every month, every month, I don't know how to say this, every month that they wouldn't pay me rent towards the end of it, I would show up in the middle of the night, 2, 3 in the morning, and with a crowbar, and I would bash their car window.
Wow.
I know, and it was just, and I was, you know what, you're not paying me fucking rent. You're gonna pay for something. Not me, but you're gonna pay for something.
Yeah.
And then I eventually got the city involved. I got the marshals involved. It was like a cold January. I remember it was snowing, and I was sitting outside in my car, watching them get evicted with such pleasure.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm not, it was just, what they did to me they were terrible. They were the worst tenants, the worst group of people that I could have imagined. So when they left the apartment, I think they had put cement down my toilet. Oh. They trashed it. And again, these were living conditions that it was my fault for not doing my due diligence prior and kind of, seeing the best in people. And also I understand now why the previous landlord wanted to get out.
Yeah.
So I walked into that problem, and that was probably one of my worst experiences. Yeah. And then that, as you grow older, you learn to you become numb when it comes to business, when it comes to people.
Get thick skin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get thick skin. Yeah. I mean, New York laws, I don't invest there. I mean, I've done some flips there and stuff, but I don't really invest in rentals there. And I know it's bad. I made a video about me selling Florida rentals, and people are like, oh, New York is way worse. I'm like, I know. I'm not arguing with you. I know New York is not very friendly for landlords. So, I mean, well, you suffered, that sucks.
No, and just another part, I remember going to court, And the first time I filed the petition to evict them, because I had missed one word, I did it myself. They pushed the hearing another month. And then the way the tenants, at least these tenants, the way they worked the system, is that when the tenant court, the court date would show up, on the court day, they wouldn't show up to court and they would ask for an extension.
Oh,
So they did that about 4 or 5 times, and they delayed the whole eviction like 6, 8 months. No, it was definitely a learning lesson.
yeah.
And but it's also, I feel like I've gotten better with people and understanding and knowing people, which is another part to it.
Yeah, you probably won't make that mistake again about like hiring, you interview tenants a little bit better, probably for your rental properties.
Yeah. It definitely left a little dark spot in my heart with real estate.
I bet, man. I'm going through people who have properties, they go through this stuff all the time. And I talk about that, man. Rentals aren't so passive, like people say, it's not like buy rentals and sit on the beach. Like you got to work. If there's an eviction, a lot of times you have to go. If you have a property manager, you have to manage the manager. What was like the rest of your real estate journey? I know now it's funny. I noticed that like things kind of come full circle for you. You did film, and here you are doing content for your gyms, and you're doing podcasts, and you're doing like all these amazing things for your gyms. And then you did real estate, and you're leasing your properties and gyms. So like, it's really interesting how things kind of come full circle.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? It wasn't planned, right?
You hit it on the nose. I think that's one of my successes. And don't get me wrong, I have a partner which is proficient in real estate, but I can read and understand the lease most business people. I can negotiate a lease. I can see where, in the long run of a business, I can get caught up. So I'll negotiate that. I've killed deals because of it.
Yeah.
Where most people that get into business, they're just in it for the business. They're not even thinking about, like, I remember one kid, he opened up a gym. He invested X amount of dollars. And he's like, oh, yes. I'm like, how long is your lease? I'm like, about 3 years, and we'll do it. Like, 3 years? How are you going to recoup your money? What's the whole point of this whole business, So, hence it definitely has assisted in what I do today.
Yeah. Really cool. Really cool. Yeah. It's it's always good to study different parts of things.
Yeah.
Because in business, it's so different faceted, and there's different parts of education that you could apply. I feel like the film stuff you learned, there has to be something you're applying now. Your content's really good. Your real estate stuff, you're applying for your leases, and probably, I don't know what the plan is, but maybe eventually you want to buy the locations or something. Now you know how to do that.
Yeah.
Really cool. Really cool. So what was a trigger for you from leaving real estate to then the gyms, right? So it seems like when you were going through a hard time, you focus a lot on your health, you focus on your purpose again. Explain to us, like, what started triggering you to be like, okay, I'm going to go from real estate, I'm going to start this thing, and I want to go into health, I want to go into fitness.
So when I was 19, I went through I think we should all go through a really rough breakup. And I went through a really rough one. And my friend just dragged me to the gym. I actually wasn't even going to graduate high school because I never went to the gym. I hated working out.
Really?
Far from it. So I started working out. I was 135 pounds, super, wet, and I just started seeing the change in my body, became obsessed with developing myself. So whether I was in banking, real estate, anything, I always had my gym bag. I always went to the gym. I was working out, 5-6 days a week, and you become obsessed with it. I become very obsessed with my work, and eventually, when everything hit the fan, I said, you know what, I want to pursue fitness, and again, I love to tell people, when you start working out, people start asking you questions. What do you eat? What's your workout? So I became a personal trainer.
Oh, okay. So that's how you started. You became a personal trainer. Did you have a plan? Like when you were leaving, you're like, I want to do fitness. Did you have like this whole like master plan mapped out? Or you were just like, let me start with being a trainer?
Yeah. Let me be the best trainer. Let me be the best trainer in the city. So while I did personal training for about 5 years, I began, at that time I researched the best gyms, which was Equinox in New York. And, I remember interviewing with them, and my manager, she was like, why would we hire you? This guy has a PhD. This one has a bachelor's in exercise science. You're a dropout. And and I was, but I'm like, give me an opportunity. So she gave me a position just to clean the gym, like hand out towels while I got certified.
Wow.
And I got certified within a month, and I started picking up clients. And, I don't want to say I capped out with Equinox, but I saw myself doing well, and for me, it's like I want to make more money. So I went to another gym called Sports Club LA, which is another high-end luxury fitness club in New York, and did well with them, and eventually went independent. And I started training like celebrities, started training people in the scene and in whatever industry they were in. So because of Equinox, I also had a great relationship with just people. So I learned the essence of networking with high influential people. I remember one of my clients, Steven, I remember my client was always fucking late. I get so upset at him. And one day I was leaving the gym, and one of the guy goes, "Angel, you know who that is?" This fucking guy, Steven. Yeah, he's always late, never shows up. I'm like, no, do you know who he is? And he's like, well, he's the attorney for the country of Ecuador against Chavez and the oil spill, and a big deal. I Googled him, 2020 interviews, like, with the president. So I see him the next day, like, Steven, what the fuck, bro? You didn't tell me when you're taking off, you're doing this, saving the country or saving a country. And it gave me a sense for how to talk to people. And it doesn't matter how much money people have. They're just like you and I. I come from, I won't say the bottom of the barrel, but from working class, poor, low income. And for some reason, these people who are, in my opinion, at that time on a much higher financial scale, they're comfortable speaking with me. I have something in common with them, and it's fitness. So I saw how fitness was a common ground for everyone.
Yeah, very cool, man. I love that story because I feel like a lot of people get stuck in this like analysis phase, like whether they want to change from a job and go into real estate or go from real estate to something else. And then they take forever to make the jump. And because they don't have this master plan or they don't have everything figured out, but you're like, okay, I'm done with this. I want to be the best trainer in the city. And then let me start. Then you went and applied at Equinox, and you started freaking handing out towels to then get certified and doing this and doing that, then meeting celebrities and high net worth people that you ended up training. So it just goes to show you that with just hard work and just fucking taking a step. Honestly,
absolutely.
Just taking 100%. A step in the right direction. It seemed like that.
Yeah.
And probably we'll figure that out as we keep on talking, but it seems like that's your thing. Like you probably don't have everything figured out, just like no one does, but you just take the step. And then when you go, you can see further, I
still don't know what I want to do with my life.
Yeah, man. Awesome. So I feel like this is good for maybe a personal trainer. What would you tell a personal trainer who's stuck in that limbo? Maybe they're making good money every hour, right? Because that's how they get paid, or they're working for a really good gym or themselves. What would you tell that person if they want to take that next step? Because I feel I've met some. I used to have some personal trainers, and what would you tell that person? Because I feel like a lot of people get stuck there. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not huge in space, but
no, personal training. You have two avenues when you become a personal trainer. You can go, well, in my opinion, it's best to always go the corporate route. Work for a company, get experience.
Okay.
Let them teach you, let them offer you the tools. You'll make less money.
Right.
Once you're ready, you can go independent. You develop your skill set. You can charge a certain rate. And then you got to find a place where they will allow you to perform at your will, what you'd like. Now, between then and there, a lot of these trainers in today's day and age, which I didn't have it back then, you have social media. Now they're doing the online apps, and I think that the biggest hurdle that a lot of these trainers face is the actual work. And I think they're lazy.
Really?
I really do think people are lazy, where they can, in one day, they can learn so much, whether it's through Google, YouTube, all these, avenues of education, and they can build up their own education, their own plans, their own program. And aside from that, I think that they don't take, aside from training in the actual practice, I believe sales is a huge part, the people skills. And a lot of them are not too proficient in having a dialogue. Like I had mentioned, I had my network of high-end people. I never saw them like a ticket number or dollar sign. It was just people, Steven, George, Jennifer, whoever it was, because she had been the queen, literally the queen of Qatar or whoever it was. I don't care. I'm here to sell you a membership. I'm here to,
and I'm here to get you right.
100%. So I've always treated everyone fairly. And I think that trainers, they need to step up to the plate, and they need to put in that work, but also be a people person. That's huge. That's such a huge thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like when you started Equinox and when you started training people, you mentioned that like people skills, talking to people. Did you have a what helped you develop that? Or did it come natural to you? Did you have some kind of system that you're like, okay, these are the certain questions I ask people every time to get the conversation going?
Yeah.
Like, did you have anything like any tips
I
that helped you?
I always work. I've always worked for companies that always had sales training. So Equinox Sports Club, Foxton's, a real estate company, Chase. I've always, whenever they began someone on or they onboarded someone, it was always an extensive sales training. That was part of their curriculum, a part of how to
Oh, I
start there.
see.
So I always took that, and whenever I worked anywhere, I always wanted to perform. I wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the fucking best, the best trainer, best sales, best this. So for me, to be the best you have to get in front of people, and it's uncomfortable. So I push myself to the limit where even having these type of conversations on a podcast,
Yeah.
I'll start sweating, mumbling my words. But I'm like, no, you just gotta jump in the ring. Let's just
Yeah.
do it. So I think there's a level of insecurity with trainers, and maybe they have, maybe they don't have, but it's just leveling up, and like you said, it's just jumping in.
Jumping in
Yeah.
and it seems like maybe if you're a trainer studying sales, maybe reading some sales books or doing some
Yes.
legitimate sales training or working with a company that can provide that. If you go to a good gym, it seems like that's how you started and got a lot of it.
Yeah.
You mentioned be the best, and obviously with your physique and the success you've had, it seems like it drives you. What does that mean to you? Like, what does be the best mean to you?
Be the best that I can be, and I'll, even with, let's just say, my physique, I strive to, I'm 40 years old now. I'm probably in the best physical shape that I've ever been in my life.
Wow.
I'm competing in May. I'm stepping on as a professional bodybuilder, as a classic physique athlete at the New York Pro. So for me, again, will I win? I don't know. These motherfuckers are half my age, and they're looking, they're amazing.
They got all the time in the world. They don't have businesses to run.
Yeah. So but I will, considering what my body can allow me to get to, I'm gonna give it my all. But I have a coach. I follow my strict diet, my nutrition, my protocol, my training program like no one else. With a million things happening, I make time for it, and it's I think that it helps me apply that same energy with every other aspect of my life. So it's and again, I will never, out of my mouth, you'll never hear me say elevation is the best. I'll let everyone else do the talking. But I literally every single day, it's just like, what can we do to better the situation? Literally from this garbage can, move it over here. And I try to instill that type of mentality with my team.
Yeah.
And eventually it works out.
Yeah, amazing, man. Yeah, and I noticed that when I was watching your content, doing research on you, I saw a video that stood out to me that you said, "Hey, this is why I get these certain plates, these like thinner plates to put on the racks or to put on the bar, because with these, people that lift heavy, they could put more."
Correct.
And it allows them to, walk less and put less, and then it'll attract bigger people to your gym or people that lift that. That's like such a detail that I don't think a lot of people would think about. So it's crazy that you've kind of narrowed everything down. I could tell that you do all this to a little science.
Yeah. It's anything that, and again, even with real estate, I eventually was selling people properties. Eventually I learned the process. I saw the user. I wanted to be the user.
Yeah.
Why can't I own a property?
Yeah.
I did it for them 20, 30 times. Let me do this for myself one time.
Yeah.
So I think part of the success in elevation has also been me being the end user, and also accepting and open-minded to the feedback of people. A lot of times I don't have the answer, but if you tell me, "Hey, Angel, I've been coming to this gym for I don't know how many times, and this is what bothers me, this machine," I'll sit there, I'll listen. I'm like, "Yo, you have a fucking point. Let's make this change." I'll learn it, I'll apply it, and I'll eventually adapt it everywhere else.
That's awesome. So you listen to your users in there. That's awesome. 100%. I feel like a lot of people have so much ego and they don't want to listen to their clients, which is like, man, these are the people using your gym, using your product.
Ego's a killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, your gyms are incredible. Like I've done so much research on it, which is crazy. What does it look like today? What does the team look like today? How many gyms? What's it like?
So when I first started, I opened up the downtown location. I eventually expanded that from 5,000 to 16,000 square feet.
Wow.
I then built out Miami Shores and South Beach. And then I had an opportunity to sell South Beach about a year and a half ago.
Really?
The landlord, we had a 10-year lease. You know, that's why I tell people, get a long-term lease. We had a 10-year lease in there. He had an opportunity to sell the building, and we held up the sale. So we got bought out of our lease, which is great. And those funds we used to build more gyms.
Wow.
Not buy a Ferrari.
Smart business
Yeah.
move though, to like hold on.
Yeah.
You knew what was happening. You probably knew the value of the building. You knew how much these people wanted it.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, let me hold on tight here.
Yeah, there's so many ways to negotiate a lease. But after the fact, I had an opportunity. I brought in a partner in 21 to help me scale the business. And we opened up, I built out Las Vegas. And then I built out North Miami.
Okay.
So we sold one, now we're operating four. And recently, about middle of last year, I got a phone call telling me that there's an opportunity in Boca Raton, a gym that's going out of business. Are you interested? Did my homework? Absolutely. Boca Raton is on and popping right now.
Wow.
So we have 5 locations running as we speak. And I'm currently building out, which is for me one of my biggest, most sickest projects, which is Midtown Miami.
Really? Where's that going to be?
Right on 30th and Northeast First, right down the block from Trader Joe's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You're going to build a gym there.
Yeah. So we actually, right before this, I was on a call with the contractor going over the time frame and our proposals. But that's going to be I'll be able to do something literally from scratch, like the way I want it.
That's sick. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed in some of your videos also you talk about, hey, gym owners, if what's better, to build from scratch, a kind of room like this, or to buy an existing gym and remodel it.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned that you like buying an existing gym because
Always.
It's a little bit, probably a quicker process, a lot less headaches. But this one that you're talking about is going to be a blank slate.
Yeah. So, it's funny, I had a meeting last night about it. And the reason why it's a blank slate, I currently have, and I'm operating one of my most profitable gyms, the one in downtown, which is like the Mecca, that location, we're up on that lease sometime middle of next year.
Okay.
So they got the plans approved to build a 500 something unit building there.
Okay.
So they're going to knock everything out, build something else there. So prior to that, I've been on the hunt for space.
Oh, okay.
So my whole purpose is to build what I've done in downtown just 10 times better and give the people that are at downtown a better, bigger gym with more opportunity to, develop themselves and what they do. And for me, I'm just taking one business and just putting it over here. So on that side, I can build gyms new all day because that basically the recurring income, it's never going to stop. It's just going from one location to the other, just a few blocks down. Now, when you have a new area, you're doing something from scratch, it's scary.
Yeah, it's a big project, contractors, permitting. People don't realize that. You walk into a nice gym like yours and you're like, oh, okay, this is nice, but you don't realize all the work it took and the plans as a mission, the architects, engineers, and submitting everything.
It took me 7 months to get plans approved.
Wow.
So imagine you're paying rent or you began your lease and it's just sitting empty for 7 months.
Not making
just
any
until
money.
the city decides to, give you a stamp of approval.
Yeah. How many members, man? How many members on all of it?
So collectively, downtown we have probably a little over 2,400 members.
2,400.
2,400.
Just in that one location?
Yeah. And the cool thing about the membership is that we offer an all access. So a lot of these members, they not only go to downtown, but they travel amongst the other gyms.
Oh, very cool.
So, and then on average, all the other gyms, maybe anywhere between 800 to 1,000 members. They're a little smaller.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of members, bro.
Yeah, no, we have a huge audience. I'm very fortunate. Knock on wood,
Yeah, that's incredible. Did you think when you were starting the gyms, like, were these some of your goals or like, how did it get there?
No. So, I don't know how much you know about the story. So when I came to Miami, so after personal training, I took on sales. I actually got tapped out of personal training. I kind of fell out of love with it as well, but I loved fitness. I had a buddy of mine call me from Equinox. Yo, come back to work for us. There's a sales position available.
Okay.
Sales, selling memberships. You're making 6 figures. Like 6 figures selling gym memberships? Nah. I went, I interviewed, I took the job. And at that time, Equinox had about 250 advisors. And out of 250, eventually, probably 3, 4, no, probably about 5 months into it, I became number 2 in the company.
Wow.
So that's the other part where, fitness, personal training, sales. So you as a customer would come into Equinox to talk to me. I'm selling you the gym experience 100%, but I'm also talking to you like a trainer. I'm telling you why you need it. So I'm swiping that card for $15,000, $20,000 for personal training.
Wow.
And I'm handing it off to the trainer. This time I'm not physically doing the work, but I'm selling the experience. So at that time it's winter time. It was 2013, and I said, oh my god, I want to go to Miami. I feel like I built a little savings nest. I'm ready for this, and I applied for a few jobs here in Miami, and I got called in, and I took a sales position with a gym that's no longer here. Came over. Fast forward, that company was there for like a year, 2 years. I'm gonna make a long story short, and then I eventually got hired to build and manage a gym called Iron Addicts. I don't know if you ever heard of it. That gym in 2015, I began that project, September, October. And following in February 22nd of 2017, it hit the fan. So one of the owners, or the owner, the main guy, was involved in heavy illegal steroid sales online. And
Really?
probably one of the largest Miami DEA drug busts. And when that happened, it left me without a job. Thing is that his business, supported the gym. So obviously the gym,
It's like a laundering type
one,
thing.
yeah.
Wow.
I don't want to say exactly, but yeah, exactly.
So yeah, well,
But it hit me where I'm like, shit. Now I don't have a job. I have all these people that depend on me because I was running the gym. They're turning to me. What's going to happen? So I said, fuck it, took a leap of faith, and decided to move forward and open up what today is Elevation.
Oh wow. So that's really what started. You're running a gym.
Yeah.
Some crazy shit happened. And
Yeah.
and you're like, all right,
Yeah,
let's do it.
literally one night to the other, my life completely changed. Actually, yesterday, February 22nd, was a 7-year anniversary
Wow.
of that.
Incredible.
So when that happened, I had no idea what that we would even be having this discussion.
Yeah.
But I knew how to build a gym
Yeah.
from scratch, and I had an audience. So again, I built a small 5,000 square foot facility, and my mind was always been on growing. And I grew to one space and took over the other. And then here we are.
Wow. Wow. And where was that first gym location?
It's in downtown. It's on.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it was first 5,000. Now it's
Yeah.
16,000.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I thought it was 5,000, then you moved to 6. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, that's wild.
No, it's crazy.
That's a very Miami story right there.
It's a
by the way.
very, and it's funny because now I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how Miami has become part of my bloodline. Like it's like, oh, you're from Miami. Oh, well, I got to tell a story. Well, I'm from New York, but you know what?
yeah.
I've accepted it. I built my success here in Miami.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. Man, I want to, you've been incredible, man. This story is really, really wild. I think it's very inspirational too, because, like you said, you came from working class, from New York, Hispanic background, like a lot of us are from Miami.
Yeah.
We come from working class families that migrate from different places.
Absolutely.
And you just made something of yourself, man.
Yeah.
Sales, real estate, personal training. Then you took the leap of faith, got the first gym, 5,000 square feet, 16. Now, a bunch of gyms going down. So really inspirational. To take a quick turn, since this is your life, right? Like health, fitness, training is your life.
Yeah.
I want to maybe debunk some health or weightlifting things.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
What are some of the biggest, when you walk into the gym and what are some of the biggest things you're like, oh my God, that doesn't work. Why are these people doing that? What are some things that you're seeing online right now, or you're seeing trends that just don't work?
Yeah.
In your opinion.
I think that it would sound so obvious, but it's not. It's just the consistency of eating. I see people with the proteins and all these. Listen, man, there's no special powder, there's no special pills. At the end of the day, it's eating, X amount of times a day. It's really staying disciplined. It's eating well, drinking water, staying away from alcohol, from drugs.
Yeah.
And I think that just plays a huge role. I see a lot of people go to the gym. No, I don't see results. What's going on? But then you ask them, what are their dietary habits? How are their lifestyle?
Yeah.
And it's a complete shit show.
They don't even know.
Yeah, I'm like, actually, if you fix that and you work out half, you'll see more results.
Yeah.
So I think that is a huge part. I think, obviously education it's a big part of it. I love that social media it's shining the light on a lot of that now.
Yeah.
But it's still difficult I believe, for people to grasp.
Yeah. And I feel like there's so much, since it's not like completely my space, obviously I learn about it and things, but I feel there's so much misinformation out there, so much clickbait information.
Yes.
That's what I was trying to get at. Like, what is clickbait and what is not, and it just seems like from what you said, like, man, just eating right. What's your take on like tracking your calories, counting your calories and things?
So I personally don't, but not because I don't. It's just I have a coach. Okay, so the coach tells me, hey, listen, eat 3 pounds of shit. Okay, what kind? So I think now he's been in this for 25 years, and the guy is an expert. I hired him. He's also taking me from. I've been working with him for now almost 6-7 years, and I became a professional athlete because of him, and now I'm gonna step back on stage. But again, I think that when I was a trainer, people, I trained, and actually I had my manager, which was my coach. People need a mentor, they need a coach or a trainer, whatever it is. I think that's a huge step in the right direction to bettering your health.
I agree. Definitely, man. And I just feel like people are so lost in their, they just don't know what they're consuming. That's why, for me, like every time I track my calories, I do well physique wise, because I just don't know what things think. I think maybe once you have a coach or you've been training for a while, then you probably don't have to do it. But
I eyeball things now.
Yeah,
because I've been doing this for so long.
That's your thing.
But and that's when I'm off season. But for the most part, I always have someone there. I absolutely, even my meals, I don't cook them. I have a company. Angie, she cooks my meals. She measures my meals. It's to the T. Like, and it's like clockwork. I have my first meal. Actually, right now, I'm like, I got to eat around 1:30. So we're good. So it's something that it becomes a part of your life. Yeah. And I've made it a part of my life. And like I mentioned before, it helps me orchestrate all the other avenues that I have going on.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, because there's so much clickbait stuff and it's just so simple. Yeah. If you eat right, and you talked obviously training right, good form, trainer, but eating right is so much of the equation.
I will say this, and this I'm because I'm involved. It's not necessarily on the training part, but on the gym side. So I get a lot of people sending me, forwarding me, different machines, different like gimmicky machines. You guys should have this for your gym. I love to, if you know of an elevation, you go in there. There's simple movements. They're just the brands to have, but there's a lot of companies out there coming up with like one machine that does 6 different things, which is cool. It's nice. It's gimmicky, but it's not essentially what you need as a gym. So on that end, I've been seeing a lot of that going on, and I wish that the consumer or the people building gyms can just stay more towards the basics.
Yeah, I saw your videos. You talked a lot about you like machines that are simple movements. They kind of look a certain way, like they look like nostalgic or something. Like
that type of those old school pieces. They work. They absolutely work. Good.
I like gyms that have that, man. That's pretty cool. What do you think about this whole like trend? I see it like on these shorts and stuff that they go up to like jacked guys are like, are you natty or not? Like, what do you think about that whole thing? Like,
I actually know Kenny.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because when he came to the gym, I had a conversation with him. Like, bro, you cannot go up to people in the gym and ask these things unless you get their consent.
Right.
I think, I think what he's doing, it's, whether I'm not saying I'm pro or against exposure. For myself, I'm completely transparent with what I do, what I've done, what I'm going to do. But it's a very touchy subject. Yeah. I know a lot of people in the industry, big people in the industry reached out to me. They're telling me they're totally against it, So I'm always I leave it up to the discretion of the person that's giving if they come up to you, are you natty or not? Turn it down or say something, but also be honest.
Yeah.
Be completely honest. I think that if you are not natural and if you want to say something, then be real with the world and be real with yourself.
Yeah. I think that's the good thing about it, right? Like, I don't think people should care that much, but if you're an influencer and you have a good amount of influence or
Yes.
selling products or training and you're lying about it, I feel like at that
Yes.
point it's very unethical, you know? I don't think you should be doing that. But so I think like I found the trend like kind of interesting. Like it kind of kept me watching.
Yeah.
I had one day that I went on this guy's page. I'm like, this is hilarious because and then after you see so many comments of like he kept saying he wasn't, and I think he is, like,
Yeah.
it's a whole thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm going to segue this into, so I'm starting a supplement company.
Okay.
And with the ingredients, I try to be completely transparent. And as as I explain the supplement to people who are interested, you know, it's not going to get you muscle. Not going to, instant muscle, instant, you know, 5 pounds, 10 pounds of mass. No, it has a purpose and how it works for your body. It's just how everything else, how your lifestyle revolves around that. That's how you'll be able to put on X amounts of pounds of muscle.
Interesting.
The product itself is not going to do it for you.
Right. It's everything you do outside of it. That's just
Yes.
a little tool. What do you think of I mean, I consume a lot of his content. He's growing like crazy. What do you think of Alex Hormozy? I feel like he started in the gym world. You're in the gym world. What do you think of him?
So Alex, so when I was building out, first of all, I think the best of him. About 4 years ago, someone came up to me and told me, hey, you got to follow this guy, Alex. He reminds me of you. And I was like, this fucking guy, Alex. So I started following him and I saw what he's done. And so, you know, it's amazing. About 2 years ago, when I was building out Las Vegas, I went to Flex's gym, the Dragon Slayer in Las Vegas. And I don't usually care about people, like I mentioned, celebrities.
Yeah.
But when I saw Alex working out, I was like, oh, shit. I was by myself. I went up to him. You know, I went up to him. I didn't introduce myself to him. I said, hey, man, it's just, he was doing back. I'm like, listen, don't want to interrupt your workout. Just wanted to tell you, I love your content. I love what you do. You keep doing it. Pound. That's it. Walked away. Build Las Vegas Elevation. On my app, I get notifications of people that join the gym. And I'm a control freak. So, so then I get a notification and it says Alex Hormozy, you know, has gotten a membership and whatnot. I was like, get the fuck out of here. So I called up Vegas. Lisa, yes, Alex joined the gym. Oh, holy shit. For me, it was such it was such a great turning point because it's like, not that I don't care about everyone else. I love everyone else. But this is someone that I value their opinion on gyms and what they've done. He's in the industry. So I remember going to Lisa. I'm like, Lisa, can you get some feedback? What does he think about the gym? What's going on? And I've never personally met him, but my team in Vegas, obviously, they're used to him there. But I think the best of him. Yeah.
Wow. Really cool. Yeah. I mean, you know, obviously everyone hears the story about the gym world. And since you're in it, you're opening all these gyms. I just figured like, what does someone in the industry think of his content? I've never really asked somebody that.
Yeah. I think, and to the point where, again, I've never met him, but what I've been told, I know he shared his book with my team in Vegas, which I think is amazing. You know, because he's basically there to educate people. Obviously, you know, he's there to showcase what he's doing, but there's a bigger purpose for him, I believe.
Yeah. Incredible. Man, this has been so cool.
Yeah.
To learn your story, to see that all this is happening here in South Florida. You've added so much value to the city. You added so much jobs, so many, I mean, there's just so many cool things that you've done. I'm sure like you're just getting started. You're 40 years old. You got like everything ahead of you. So I congratulate you, man.
Thank you.
It's really, really cool to see. Man, any last words, any other like piece of advice that come to mind, or if you're talking to somebody or maybe talking to your younger self?
If you're going to do something, do it with a purpose. Don't just do it just for the money. Don't do it for the clout. All that. Do it for the recognition. Do it because you actually want to do it and provide some sort of experience, some sort of service, and everything else is going to just come your way.
So good. It's true. Sometimes when you chase those shiny objects, you don't get shit.
Yeah. The shiny objects come.
Yeah.
Let them come on their own. Absolutely.
Very cool. Awesome, man. Well, Angel, where can people follow you? Where can people connect with you? How can they sign up to your gyms? How can they go check it out? Where can they find you?
Absolutely. Well, obviously social media, Instagram at Angel Bajana. And as far as at Elevation Fitness, and you'll see the link for the website, but definitely come check us out. I tell everyone, you know, one thing is talking about it. One thing is sharing pictures and videos, but the other thing is actually walking into the gym and feeling it.
Yeah.
You feel it. It's like a punch to the throat. You feel it. I have my days off from working out, but when I walk into the gym, like, And where's the pre-workout?
I love it. Man, epic interview. Thank you again for coming on. Please follow him. We'll have all the links in the show notes. We'll have all the links to his gyms, to his social medias. If you're looking to open gyms, I mean, I've been watching a lot of your content. Very, very good stuff. I haven't seen anyone posting content on how to open gyms, little tips to the most minute detail on gyms. So very, very interesting stuff. Watch it. Catch him on socials. Thank you for watching Flipping Miami. I'll see you on the next one.